I'll try to do my best to come here and help you to plan everything at the end, okay?
You guys can move those chairs over.
Sorry. Nothing very special. Table.
Я зрозуміла.
Там лежиш, писав десь. Зараз, we'll take pictures.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Again.
Again.
Okay, how about a picture again? A new picture? Say smile. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Say again, cheese. Cheese. Thank you. Trust me, make some pictures, alright? Here on, see anyone have ours? Ina? Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, you guys, welcome to our life skills class, okay? Now, my name is Jimmy, and I will be teaching this class for the next several weeks, maybe longer. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach everyone in this class two things. One would be to improve your English, of course. The other would be to improve skills that are going to help you in your life. And what are some of the things that you need to know to be happy, productive, to get the things you want in life? Can you tell me some things that you need to know? Come on in. Come on in.
At first you need to be in health.
All right, you need health.
Yes.
And we will be talking about health at some point, the psychology of health. And health, what does health mean to you? What does it mean to be healthy?
When you feel alright.
When you feel good.
Strong mind.
When you feel good, so.
When you don't mind about your health.
Right, when you're not thinking about your health. But yeah, health basically means that you can do the things in life that you want to do. You have the physical strength and energy, and that you have a positive outlook. You believe in yourself and feel confident. So we're going to talk a little bit about health. And health really is, can your body do the things that you want it to do? Okay, because our body is a little bit like a machine, and we have to treat it well to get the results that we want. So yeah, taking care of yourself is a skill. Taking care of your mind is a skill, okay, that we learn. What are some other important skills that we must know in life to be successful?
Communicating.
Right, communication skills. That is a very important skill. And communication, how did we define communication? What is communication?
How to not afraid of people.
All right, how not to be afraid of people? That's part of it. Communication, being able to overcome fears is an important psychological sign of health. A lot of people are afraid of things. Everybody in this room is afraid of something. Our goal is to overcome our fears so that we can do the things in life that we want. If we're afraid to speak English, we won't learn English. Okay? So we avoid our fears. And what I will teach you to do is how to face your fears. How to say, okay, I'm not going to be afraid of this. Because when we're afraid of things, those things stop us from having a good life. So dealing with our fears will be something we will talk about. It's okay to be afraid. It's part of being human, to have fears. We need our fears to keep us safe. But sometimes our fears stop us from having the kind of life we want, okay? So I'll teach you how to deal with your fears. Communication is also what? What is another way of looking at communication? What is communication? What is the art of communicating?
It's like exchanging information.
Exactly.
I'm supposed to not just hear the person, but to listen to the person.
Right, there's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is the sound. Listening is getting the idea of what the person is saying. And there is a skill called active listening. And that's a skill that you all need to practice. If you're going to develop good friendships, you have to be an active listener. You have to get the meaning behind what a person is saying, not just the words. And when you develop the meaning, then you understand the person better. So communication, as you were saying, is I have an idea in my brain, and I want you to know that idea. I want my ideas to go into your brain, so that you know what I'm thinking and you know what I'm feeling, so we can become close. We can develop a close relationship. And we will talk about close relationships. Close relationships are the most important relationships that we have. And close relationships involve many, many things, including trust and respect and understanding. So we'll look at close relationships. But most relationships that we have are not close. I don't have a close relationship with you. Okay? It's not there yet. Maybe someday we will. But our goal is to develop close relationships, but you cannot develop close relationships with everyone. Just with a select group of people that you want to let into your world. I call it the quality world. These are the most important people in our life, and we want to protect those relationships. Other important life skills that we need to know to master the world. Other things that we need to know to...
That's hard, but all we need is love.
About what?
All we need is love.
All we need is love. Well, love is a very important concept, but it's a very mystical concept.
The same communication.
Yeah. My feeling is you can't have love unless you have the other things. You can't love somebody unless you can communicate, unless you develop understanding, self-awareness. Love is the thing that comes when you develop yourself. And when you develop yourself and you know yourself, then you can find love. Until then, you're in the dark. You're operating in total darkness. It's just an emotional chaos. So love comes when we develop these other aspects of ourselves, okay? And so you have to develop yourself first in order to understand and find love. Because it is the most difficult thing to find, but it's also the most important thing to find, okay? So the difficult things are always the most important. But it starts with, first of all, loving yourself. You can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself first. So we'll teach you how to do that. Okay? It's a long, difficult process. But it starts with taking care of yourself first. And when you take care of yourself, then you have something to give somebody else. Love is not a noun. It's a verb. It's a verb that says, I will give you something. I will give you part of myself because I believe that I have something to give. Okay? So we'll teach you guys about love, which is a very complicated and difficult topic. Okay? But love is reserved for the very close relationships that we have. So what else are life skills? What are some of the other life skills that we must master?
How to make money.
Okay, how to make money, I think, would go under critical thinking. We have to be able to think in a clear way. People who make money in this world are good thinkers. They use their brain in a very good way.
I mean, how to find yourself in this world.
Well, right, well, yeah, okay. That's part of self-awareness. When you know who you are, when you know your strengths, then you can apply those strengths to increase relationships, but also to increase financial benefit. Because money is important. I'd rather be rich than poor. I have been poor. I don't think I've ever been rich, but I think it's not that important. But you have to have a minimal amount of money to be relatively happy. in this Western civilization that we live in. If you're poor, it's a little harder to be happy because you're focused on survival. And we don't want to be focused only on survival. And if we have enough money, then we can focus on the higher aspirations in life. Relationships and beauty and art and things like that. Now, I've spoken for a few minutes here, and this is not just a lecture about me giving you information. This is real communication here. And I want to hear what you have to say. All right? Now, is there any other life skills that you think are critical?
Tolerance?
Right, tolerance is a characteristic, it's a trait. It's being open-minded and tolerant. Does anybody know what the word tolerant means? What does it mean to be tolerant and why is it important?
It's to be patient to the things you think are wrong.
Okay. Tolerant is forgiveness, too. Tolerant is patience. Being tolerant also means that you accept people as they are. Now, one of the important things that we all need to learn as a human being is that every person in this room has problems. We all have problems. We all have flaws. You know what a flaw is? A flaw is something that's not quite right about ourselves. When we're tolerant, we accept the whole person, not just the part we like. Okay? We accept the person as a whole human being. All right? We don't say, well, I like this part, but I don't like this part. Okay? We take the person as a whole. Okay? Come on in. You're welcome.
Бажаєте замовити зробити? Так.
All right, okay. I guess we have to order something?
Yes.
You guys, yeah, I guess the discussion is free, but we have to order, you should order a drink and maybe there's a menu around, because how many of you have never been here before? How many of you have never been to this class before? All right, how many of you are ALMA students? Most of you are ALMA students, some of you are not. Okay, but I guess that's part of the rules, that the discussion is free, but you have to order a coffee or tea or something like that. Okay. Okay. What was I talking about? Tolerance, right? Tolerance is understanding that there's no perfect people. Nobody's perfect. Well, maybe Arthur is perfect, but nobody else is perfect, all right? Okay, nobody's perfect, and it's okay to be imperfect. I like imperfect people. I like people who are flawed, because that means I can help them, and they can help me, all right? So all of us have these imperfections, and it's okay. We accept people as they are, okay? But we might still want to help them with their problems. You know what I'm saying? We can be tolerant, but we can still see that maybe this person needs a little help. All right? Other life skills that you guys might want to talk about during this class. Other life skills.
Well, to be inspiring, to encourage people in some activities.
All right. That is, we would want to be inspiring in the sense that if people see us as a real human being, if they see us as genuine and honest, they will be inspired by us. We do want to inspire people. I think part of our purpose on this planet is to help people reach their goals and dreams in life. Okay? And when you help a person reach their goals and dreams, they will probably help you too. But you cannot expect it. We should do some things unconditionally. What do I mean by unconditionally?
We're not asking for substance from
Yeah.
other people.
We're not going to ask for help. If I help you, it's because I want to see you grow and develop. It doesn't mean you're going to do anything for me. If I expect you to do something for me, then I'm not really a caring person, per se. All right? Then it becomes a deal, a business deal. Okay? So what we want to do sometimes is help other people, and it may or may not come back to us. There is a concept called pay it forward. Has anybody heard of that concept, pay it forward?
Yeah, it's a
Where-
the movie.
Right, it's the movie where you do something for me, but then you disappear. So I can't do anything for you, but I might do something for her. And you don't do something for me, you do something for her, all right? That's the way you make a better place. It's very idealistic, but if everybody did those things, the world would be a better place. Okay, but unfortunately, human beings are a little bit selfish. We're thinking about ourselves first. And we have to try to get away from that sometime. Not all the time, but sometime during your day, every day, at least once or twice, you should do something unselfish. Okay? That's the way we make a little bit better world. Okay? Other life skills.
Some experience which we have in life.
All right, all of our experiences are going to teach us about the world. That's how we know about this world. We come into this world as a blank slate. We come into this world with no ideas on how to be human. Our parents will teach us some ideas. We learn from our culture and the media how we should act. You as Ukrainians were given certain information by your parents and through your media how you should be a Ukrainian, what you should eat. Ukrainians, for example, eat borscht. We don't eat borscht in America. All right, but you were taught those things. So you're taught to view the world in a certain way. And we will talk about the concept of worldview. And worldview is how you see the world. Okay, how you see the big important aspects of the world. Okay? But our experiences give us a guide as to what the world is all about. Okay? And without experiences, we don't know what to do. Our experience teach us about life. Okay? Other life skills, things that you need to know in this world to be successful, productive. Other things you can think about.
How to control emotions.
Very good. Emotional regulation. Human beings are emotional creatures that have the ability to think. We're not thinking creatures with emotions. We are emotional creatures that have the capacity to think. And being able to control and regulate your emotions is absolutely critical. What happens when you feel anger? What happens when you feel sad? How do you deal with those feelings? A lot of people, when they get upset, they get very angry and then they cause problems for other people. The first thing is to understand these feelings inside of us. What is going on inside of me? And our emotions tell us about how we're feeling. And our emotions produce chemical changes. When you're angry, there's a lot of chemical changes taking place inside you. Our brain is releasing neuropeptides and neurotransmitters that are changing our physiology, and it's causing us to do certain things. We need to understand that so we can use our emotions in a way that can improve our condition. Okay? Now, emotions are not neutral. Emotions are either pleasant, they feel good, or they feel bad. When we have a good emotion, we want to keep those good emotions going. When we have a negative emotion or an unpleasant emotion, we need to listen to it, and we need to figure out how to deal with it. Okay? Because we're all going to go through these unpleasant emotions. Every day we feel them. How we process those is very important. Because the way we process our emotions will determine our mental health. It will determine whether we're happy or sad. And we want to be happy. We should be happy more times than sad. All right? And I will get into why it's important to be happy. Okay? Other life skills that we should know.
We should have the targets, the aims.
Yeah.
To know what you want to do.
Right, and I think that all comes, that's all part of self-awareness. You guys have got to figure out what's important for you, what you want. And in my work as a counseling psychologist, there's a lot of people that do not know what they want in this world. They don't know where they're going, and they don't know what they want. And if you don't know what you want, then how do you know where to go? You can be led by other people. Other people will then tell you, this is what's good for you. You have to figure that out yourself. You have to figure out what is good for me, what is important for me, where do I want to go with my life? And you need to develop goals in different aspects of your life. And I know that all of you have at least one goal in common. What is it?
Be successful.
But you know, what is success? Success is something that is different for everybody. But what was your goal?
To find out how to communicate in English.
That's right. All of you guys have a goal of learning English. That's why you're here, I guess. All right? So your goal, you have an educational goal to learn English. Okay? So that is something you all share in common. Okay? And I will help you with that. And I'm going to speak slowly and clearly so you understand what I'm talking about. All right? You probably notice I speak a little bit slower than maybe some people. And that's because for 18 years, I interviewed children. My job was to talk to children about their problems. Okay? So I had to speak very slowly to these children because they were 4, 5, 6, 8 years old. And I had to speak in a way that they understood me. I was asking them very, very difficult questions about why they have problems. And it wasn't so easy. Okay? So, but I learned to speak slowly and clearly because of my years of working with children. So that actually is a good thing for you guys, because I think I'm a little easier to understand than maybe other people who are native speakers. I know you have some very good native speakers here at Almas that speak very clearly, but some native speakers don't. And some native speakers I can't even understand. Okay? So, but the reason I'm talking the way I'm talking is because of my years working with children. I was working with the police and the courts. My job was to look at problems in the family, and sometimes I had to take children away from their parents. And I had to work with the parents, and I had to work with the kids. And it was a difficult job, to say the least. Okay? But in that process, I learned a lot of things about life. And I went to a lot of trainings, and I did a lot of things that I can share with you that are related to psychology. Okay? What else must we know in this life to be more productive and happy? Can you think of other skills that you want me to teach you or help you better understand?
How to be persistent.
Persistent, okay. There is a concept called resiliency. And resiliency is simply that when you fall down, you're able to get back up. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they lack self-confidence, and so when bad things happen to them, they fall down, but they can't get back up. One of the things you're going to have to do is be persistent, because you will be rejected. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is job interviewing. And I can tell you this about job interviewing. You will go through a lot of interviews where you don't get the job. Okay? And you will walk away from some job interview saying, why did they not hire me? And that should not stop you from going to the next interview. All right? I mean, some people have to go to many, many, many interviews before they get a job. And why is that? Why do people have to sometimes go to many job interviews before they get a job? Why? Because there's a lot of people out there looking for work. Okay? There might be one job and 100 applicants. You know what an applicant is? Are they all going to get the job? No. 99% are not. Okay? So you might have to go to a lot of interviews. And that's what you mean by persistent. Not to give up. To keep going. When you fall down, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you keep going. And people that do that are successful. People who fall down and don't get up, they don't get what they want in life. Okay? And how to teach that is going to be problematic, by the way, because it's a personality feature. And by a personality feature, I mean sometimes people are just born with that ability. Okay? Some of you are just born more persistent than others. Some of you are born more happy than others. And we can teach these skills, but some of you simply have them inside you already. It's part of who you are. Okay? But it's an important quality to have is persistence. Because we're going to probably fail more than we are going to succeed. Okay? That's the unfortunate aspect. But just because you don't make it doesn't mean, on that occasion, doesn't mean you're a failure. You just have to keep going. Other things that you want me to talk about. Don't be shy. It's like, you guys can order anything. I'm the waiter, and you guys have a menu. You can order whatever you want. I'll try to cook it up for you.
To be confident in your surroundings.
All right, just to be, in general, self-confidence is very important. And self-confidence comes from being successful. Okay, when you are successful, you gain self-confidence. It's hard to be self-confident if you fail every time you do something. Eventually, you're going to say, wait a second, something's wrong with me. So self-confidence is a belief in yourself. It's a belief that you have a right to things in life you want, that you have a right to be happy. And all of us in this room have a right to have the life we want. Okay, we only have one life. Let's make the best of it. Okay, let's feel good about who we are. Let's never put ourselves below anybody else. Okay, we all have a right to happiness. We all are lovable. We all have a right to be loved. Okay? And so just try to feel good about yourself. Okay? Maybe people haven't always said the best things about you, and maybe sometimes you lose a relationship, or maybe sometimes things go wrong, but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You guys are all whole people. You deserve a good life, and you should feel good about that. As soon as you start feeling doubt that maybe I don't deserve happiness is when you're going to start having problems. Amir, by the way, is from America too. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Amir, nice to meet you.
Okay, he's a man of few words, obviously. Okay. We just met, by the way, a few hours ago. Yeah. He was actually in my hostel. Okay, so, but he is a mature individual and has a lot of ideas too. So, our goal in this class is to teach you guys how to get your needs met. To try to get the things in life you want. And I know all of you want to learn English, so that's priority number one. Priority number two is just to be better people, happier people, so that you feel good about who you are, and then you can also begin the process of helping other people reach their goals. Okay? All right? And again, these skills that we'll be talking about are things that really you're going to learn over the course of your life. You know, these are things that you start learning. You probably already learned some of them, but over time you'll learn more and more skills that will help you understand the world. And that's really what we want. We want to understand this world that we live in. We were put on this planet. Nobody asked us why. Nobody invited us here. Okay? We are alive, we know that, and we're going to try to take advantage of it, try to do the things in life that we want. But life is problematic. There's a lot of situations out there in this world that are going to work against us. And your goal is to be as ready as possible to face the real world. Because most of you are probably in school, you're probably living with your parents, and your parents are protecting you from the real world.